Shalom. I want to start by giving all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. I want to give them my honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught us the 100% truth according to the spirits of be Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect that they're pushing His word through the four corners of the earth in true sincerity. And peace and blessings to your hopeful believers out there, which are also part of the elect. To y'all say Shalom. And once again, I want to say, call Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash, for giving her Rachakwadash, the Holy Spirit, to do the lesson on today. Lord, and it feeds you, lamb and sheep of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. So I want to go into real quick how the salvation of Israel, the salvation of the elect, is going to come from above. It's going to come from above. It's going to come from the chariots of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Same as Enoch was translated, right? Because he was amongst a wicked generation. He was translated from amongst that wicked generation. Well, guess what? That's going to be the same fashion for the elect. The elect, the chosen of Yahweh Bashma Shai, right? Of the nation of Israel. Their salvation, their deliverance is going to come from above. It's going to come from the chairs of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And we're going to get into that. So the first scripture I want to get, this is, right? This is Luke chapter 21. And I'm going to start at verse 24. It says, and they shall so fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all the nations, and Jerusalem, right? And this is you know what I'm saying, this is going into our people, the Israelites, right? And it says, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And that's what's happening. We've been trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles has been fulfilled. And how do we know that the time of the Gentiles has been fulfilled? Which these Gentiles are talking about the heathen nations. This is not talking about the Hellenized Jake, the Israelites that have been Hellenized. This is talking about the heathen nations. And how do we know that the time of the Gentiles is being fulfilled? Well, Malachi 4. You know what I'm saying? How Alpha Bibba has came back in the earth, you know, John the Baptist, and turned the hearts of the sons back to the Father. And you read about that in Hosea 5, how Hosea 5 and 15, 1 John 1 and 9, about us acknowledging our offense and coming back to the obedience of the scriptures. And that's when the Lord would acknowledge us, you see. And that's what has happened, right? Keep going. You even read about that in the Revelation 11. Revelation, I think it's 11:11. You read down, right? The 3 days and a half. Then the Spirit came upon us. Then after that, the Lord said, which we're going to get that, said, come up hither. But reading verse 25, it says, and there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars upon the earth, distress of nation with perplexity, the seas and the waves of roaring. And we see that happening. We see that happening now, man. We've seen the signs. We just had a solar eclipse, blood moons, pink moon, particular signs and the stars in the heavens that's letting us know that we're close to that time of receiving salvation, right? We see the distress of the nations. Iran. We see what's going on with Iran and Israel. You see these particular things happening upon earth. These are signs of the end. Keep going. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory, right? Now, to get that point, what that cloud is, right? Because that cloud is the chariots of the Lord. That's the vehicles of salvation. So we're going to get what that cloud is before we get the next verse. Let me see. Right, this is Psalms 104, And we're going to start at verse 1. It says Psalms 104 and verse 1. It says, blessed be the Lord Yahweh, O my soul. O Yahweh, O my power, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty, who covereth thyself with light as with a garment, who stretcheth out the heavens like a curtain, who left the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. You see, going into Yahweh, he maketh the clouds his chariots. You see, so as we're reading in Luke 21 and verse 27, and it says, they shall see the Son of Man, Yahweh, coming in a cloud with power and great glory. That cloud is talking about a chariot. You see, which are today, they call on Yahweh is 441. But as people see today as what? They see them as the UFOs, which are not unidentified flying objects. Those are the chariots, the vehicles of salvation. And they don't got no damn green, big black-eyed aliens inside of it, you see? Now you keep going, verse 28, and it says, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. You see, look up. As the title goes, our salvation is coming from above. We're going to be looking up. Lord, wouldn't be those men, the elect. The salvation of the elect of the nation of Israel is going to come from above. It's going to come from those chariots, those vehicles of Yahweh Bashmawashah. Because you do got to think about it. As when Yahweh Shah returns, you know what I'm saying? That's when that judgment is going to commence. That second death, the 200 million thermonuclear missiles being shot over there to Babylon, the Great America. The elect descend in Babylon, the Great America. You read about it in Zechariah 13, 8, and 9. The Lord said he's going to bring them through the fire. But how he's going to bring them through the fire? He's going to bring them up out of Babylon, the Great America, and they're going to come into the chariot. You see? And whether they're scattered, wherever the elect is scattered. But we know that the chief deliverance, the bulk of majority of the Israelites, is in Babylon, the Great America. So the bulk of of the elect will be in Babylon, the Great America. You see, and that's where they deliverance is going. They're going to come up from out of the Babylon, the Great America, so they don't be partakers of the plagues. You see, so we're going to get those. We're going to get that. We're going to get Revelation chapter 18, and we're going to read it. It says, verse 4. It says, and I heard a voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her plagues. It's like you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins, and this is literal, for her sins have reached out of heaven, and the power have remembered her iniquities. You see, so when it says come out of her, my people, that's literal. You know, that we're gonna literally, the elect is literally gonna come out of Babylon the Great, and because they're not allotted to receive of that damnation, the second death, as it says. Reading in verse 5, it says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her even as according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled to her double, going into the judgment of Babylon the Great America, aka the second death. You see, but they're going to come up. That's why when we read in Luke 21, we're going to be looking up, man. When we see that Father chariot come into the realm, as you read about that in 2nd Ezra 13, realm against realm. If we see Yahweh Shai, and to be honest, we're not even going to see him. We're going to feel him first. It kind of makes you think about when somebody's playing loud ass music. You usually hear them before you even see the car pull up. That's how it is going to be with Yahweh Shai. We're going to feel the presence. We're going to feel the power of the heavenly host. You got to think about it. Yahweh Shai, through his presence, he's going to make the earth tremble. It's going to shake. You see, and it's going to be by way. He's going to come with the as it says in Isaiah 63. He's going to come in his Father's glory. You see, he's going to come with the archangels, the army. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about it. That's going to shake the earth. Niggas talk about vibration now. Wait until Yahweh Shah show you what true, pure, powerful vibration he's going to bring into the earth. And it's going to be dreadful, too, amongst the wicked. We're going to feel it, too, but we're going to, it's going to rise to us. But we're going to be comforted by it because we're going to know that our salvation is here. As he told the disciples when they asked him, "Will thou now restore the kingdom of heaven?" in Acts, He pretty much told him, and the angel told him in that same fashion that he left, is in that same fashion he will return. And what he's going to return to do. Yahweh Shai, you read about that Revelation 22. Yahweh Shai is going to return, and he's going to bring a reward. And his reward is going to be a reward of damnation, destruction, and it's going to be a reward of salvation unto his elect. You see? So I want to get to this is Isaiah. As a matter of fact, before I read that, well, now that was it. Come up. Because I was going to get Revelation 11, but instead, let's pull a couple more scriptures going to how our salvation is going to come by way of the chariots, man. And the destruction. You see? Because it's going to be simultaneously. As the Lord's bringing the destruction upon his place, he's also going to be bringing the salvation to his elect. Yep, this is Isaiah 60:15. It says, "For behold, the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many." You see? So when the Lord returns, he's going to bring destruction unto our enemies. Does not it say that the joy, this is the patience, you know what I'm saying? This is the patience of the saints. The saints being the elect, which are the only ones acting as if the saints, which saints means the Israelites, the only ones that are acting as the saints of the Lord are the elect. And the patience, you know what I'm saying? This is the faith and the patience of the saints. What's the faith and the patience of the saints? The Lord coming back to recompense the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect. And he's going to do that upon this devil. He has avenged her. He has avenged us upon her. You see? As the scriptures say. That's part of our salvation. Part of our salvation is getting delivered from this hellhole and enjoyment in seeing the death and destruction that the Lord brings upon our enemy, man. That's part of that joy. That's what we're looking forward to. We're looking forward to that, man. Because when Yahweh shall return, people think it's going to be just lollipops. Man, hey, Malachi 4 verse 1. You know, the day cometh with it should burn as an oven. So it ain't going to just be, it ain't going to be no, it's going to be some lollipops. But it ain't going to be for the wicked. It's going to be for the righteous. The righteous are going to get those lollipops. And I'm saying the lollipops in representation of they're going to get the love from the Lord. They're not going to get the damnation, the wrath. They're going to get the love from the Lord. As you read about in Psalm 91, since he has set his love, of Psalm 91:19. Since he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him, and I will set him on high. He shall see my salvation, because he has known my name. You see? That's coming for the elect. And we're going to literally be set on high. As a matter of fact, since I quoted, I'm going to go ahead and get it. Because I probably quoted the wrong verse. It's Psalm 91. Let's go ahead and bring it, man. Not 81, 91. It was verse 14. Psalm 91 and verse 14. I said 19. I meant 14. It said, because he has set his love upon me. Who is he? This is going into the elect. You see, which can include women too. There's the elect lady, you know, but we know it begins with the men. But there is elect women that are setting their love upon the Lord too. There's few of them, but there's elect women. And a lot of them are going to come by way of Isaiah 4:1. You know, they're going to come under the vibration of that man that set his love upon the Lord. You see, so because he has set, and it's like it's added on to due to that, the Lord's going to save him and his household. You know, but it's Psalm 91 and 14 said, because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. You see, knowing he understood the name, the reputation, the power that came along with the name. Proverbs 18 and 10. How the name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous run into it in a safe. You see, even in Proverbs 21, and I think it's verse 4, speaking about how who should, knowing the name of the Lord, the importance of understanding and knowing the name of the Lord. Why? Because Acts 3, and if I'm not mistaken, Acts 3 speaks about what? How there was no other name given amongst men whereby we should be saved. Because those names are going to lead to salvation. Those names are going to lead to what? Being put on the chariot. It's going to give you confidence to look up and to be excited when Yahweh shall return. Because you know when you look up, you're going to what? Your expectation is going to be deliverance. Your expectation is going to be getting beamed up and delivered from the second death. You see? So let's get Isaiah 26. I want to get Isaiah 26. It's Isaiah 26 and 20. It says, "Come, my people, enter into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee." You see, and hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. And you read about that what? In Revelation. Let's get it. Revelation. Because we already got Revelation 18, but Revelation 15 too. If I'm not mistaken, Revelation 15. This is Revelation chapter 15. Verse. We're gonna start at verse 1. It says, "And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, and 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled the wrath of the Lord." Because that's what the 7 last plagues mean. The 7 last plagues, or they're known as the 7 trumpets, or the last trumpets. Those are representation of the time when Yahweh Shai returns. That's representation of the wrath, the destruction that Yahweh Shai is going to bring upon this earth. You read about that also in all through the 7 last trumpets, all throughout the scriptures. Revelation 8 speaks about that, man. But going down to verse 2, it says, "And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire," right? "And them that had the gotten of victory over the beast, and over the image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having harps of Yahweh Shai. And they sing the song of Moses." You see, so this is going into the deliverance. This is John the Revelator. He's having a vision, seeing himself looking down of the belly of the chariot and looking at the destruction that the Lord is bringing upon the planet Earth. Chiefly the second death. You know what I'm saying? Looking at the destruction the Lord is bringing upon Babylon the Great. You see? That's what he's looking at. The belly of the chariot. See a glass mingled with fire. He's looking at the belly of the chariot. As we stand, or as we're up, you know what I'm saying, in the chariot, we up in the heaven, the visible heaven that you can see. We up there hid, we're hid from the destruction, as we read in that Isaiah 26 and 20. "Come in our chambers," you know what I'm saying, let the destruction pass. That's the salvation of the elect. That's where it's going to come from above. As the angel told the disciples, that same fashion the Lord led, that's how he's going to come back. He left going up in the chariot, and he's going to come back in a chariot to do what? To bring his woman up with him. Because when it goes into closing up thy chambers, in a sense, that's, you and your woman. You take your woman in your room and, close them doors. Or in that time, you take your woman in your tent and you close out chambers about thee. And then what happens? The marriage begins, aka the pop of the hymen, and the cementing of your woman. Well, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be the cementing of the marriage of the Lord, the marriage supper of the Lamb, where the woman, the bride, comes, into the chambers. And what's going to happen? That new covenant, because that we get beamed up. You read about that 1 Corinthians, I think it's 2 Corinthians 15. It speaks about how in the twinkle of the eye, we're gonna get the new bodies. That's the concept. That's the commitment of that new covenant. That's the commitment of that marriage where we are completely joined with the Lord. You see, and it says, "And they shall sing the song of Moses." It's like, and they sing the song of Moses and the servant of the power. And the song of Moses, you read about that in Egypt. My bad. You read about that in Exodus. You see, which you had Miriam. She had like her own part in the Song of Moses, but it was going to pretty much getting the Lord casting the horse and our rider into us getting the victory over the horse and the rider, man. You see, that's going to happen again. That's going to happen again, man. And they keep saying, it says, and they sing the song of Moses, the servant of our power, and the song of the Lamb, saying, "Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord, thy power, Yahweh Shai, almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of the saints." You see? So going back to that Isaiah 26 and 20, it says, "Come, my people, enter into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation overpass." Going into the chariots. So I'm ended off with this one. This is Isaiah 31 and 5. It says, "As birds flying, so would the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shai of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he would deliver it, and passing over, he would preserve it. You see? As birds flying. What does that sound like? The chariots. The chariots. The chariots is going to be defending the elect, preserving them. You see? And ultimately, they're going to hide us from that destruction. You see? So I just wanted to bring this out just real quick. Just going to like how our... That's why when we read in the Luke 21, it said, look up. I'm ended off that. This is Luke 21 and 28. Ended off with 28. Says, and when these things begin to come to pass, which we see happening, the distress amongst nations, we see those last prophecies happening in the earth, man. Then look up. Why look up? Because that's where the salvation is going to come. It's going to come up. It's going to come from the chariots, which is going to be in the air. They're not going to be on the ground. They're not going to be the horseback. No, they're going to be vehicles in the air, defying all logic. And lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. We just read that in Revelation 15. He was looking down upon what? That destruction. That means that John the Revelator had been in the air, because he was in the chariot and looking at the belly of he was looking down on the belly of the chariot. You see? So Lord is edifying through the power and spirit of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, and feed you lemons sheets of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. I'm going to end it up saying, call Allah Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Chakwadash. I'm going to give it my honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone. So y'all, I'm going to say shalom.